We're going to take a look around the car affectionately known as Whizz, our FIA Airspeed race car. It's prepared by us at Airspeed, and we're going to take you for a little walk around the car, showing you the things that make this car extra special, attention to detail, some of the products we produce and some of the build that we do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look under the bonnet and show you what makes this car tick. So here we have the latest Airspeed R 1293 FIA engine, which in conjunction with other engine builders, we've produced an engine that revs to 8,500 revs and produces 135 reliable horsepower. As you can see, strapped on the back are some Berlin 1.5" SU carburetors, which is their latest spec on their latest inlet manifold, and we use a Maniflow exhaust manifold. We move across then to the Mini Spares competition radiator, which is their latest spec. And this car never ever overheats. In fact, we have trouble getting temperature up, these are that efficient. We then move across to the Powerlight alternator and starter motor, which are the lightest units on the market and the most reliable. So now we've finished under here, we're going to move across to the little things that make this car ultra special. We have these fisheye mirrors which give us wide angle view behind us, because when you're racing and there's 35 minis all vying for the same position, you'll be able to need to see what's around you. And we produce these on our own little brackets, which mean they mount safely, neatly, can be colour coded and hold the mirror in a good position. We open our lightweight doors, which have got the cup pockets for the roll cage, and on the door you'll notice we've got Sam Tordoff, ex-British touring car driver. Sam approached us a few years ago asking us if he could join us in the car. Sam already does historic motorsport in some of his own cars that he owns and prepares, and we agreed with a recent test at Goodwood. It went that well that during 2020, the back end of 2020 into 2021, we're going to share driving, especially at Goodwood. So now we move to the inside of the car, and many of you ask the question to me a lot of the times at the circuit, why is the car trimmed? Well, the reason being, Goodwood want the cars to look like they did when they were racing in the 60s. So not only did drivers wear shirt and ties and jackets and loafers and things like that, but the cars were also fully trimmed as they were showroom spec cars. So Goodwood, which I quite agree with, expect the car to be trimmed. So in the back we have one of our specially modified Cooper S seats which fits around the roll cage, and we also have a Works replica Navigator seat which I managed to locate many years ago and have now found a use for. And we've trimmed it to match the car but in the correct Works trim. Right, we've moved away from the trim that you can see inside the car, so the bit that you don't see when we're going around circuit is the fact we also have the doors trimmed. And the other item that we have is we have a cut door pocket, so it fits around this full custom cages cage. These are FIA spec welded in cages that come along with a certificate so we can race all over the world. Right, a couple of things I want to point out as we're walking around are these couple of stickers here, and the top one is the HRDC, which is a championship I've been racing in for the last 10 years. And the lower one is one of our big supporters, Motor Loyals. We also work forward to number 72, which I'm affectionately known by, because of 20 years of circuit racing I've always raced with this number, and now I feel it's unlucky if I don't have it attached to the car. I'm going to move round now to the rear of the car. There's quite a few special things on it. We've got our own specially developed FIA wheels, which we do in our own colour to match the car. So as next little trinket, which I really like, and this is what I'm all about, is my little attention to detail. As you all know, I've owned this car since I was 17. And this little trinket, I've owned this, which has also been on the car since I was 17. And even though I race the car, I'm quite attached to the fuel cap, but it really suits the period of the car, so we've kept it on board. So we're now moving to the inner boot area. It's another one of those things that we're renowned for, is about the finesse and the packaging of the car, which all adds to the handling, because everything's to do with about spreading the weight around the car. We've got one of our high capacity Airspeed R tanks, along with a neat little battery fit inside there that comes from our friends at Powerlight, and everything's very open, the fuel pump's there, all beautifully painted, very little in the boot, all nice and tidy. We then shut the boot and you get to see the number of the car. And obviously the hawk-eyed ones of you will realise it's a really early number. It's a 1960 Morris number, because this car is a lightweight shell, which all the racers in period wanted to find when they were doing motorsport, because these cars are 40 pounds lighter than the later Minis. So this what makes this a really competitive car. So we're moving on from the number plate, which I've just explained, and we now go to our specially developed exhaust pipes. The cars, when they're on circuit, have to run at under 105 decibels, and this is where we've had these made. And just above there, which you can't see, is one of our own Airspeed anti-roll bars, which make this car handle. We moved to this decal here, which I'm ever so proud of. 3 years ago, the Mini Cooper register approached me, as I'd been a member for a long while, and asked me if I'd take on an ambassador, an honorary membership role, which I gratefully accepted. We now carry the decal wherever we race. We carry it on all those vehicles, as trailers, race cars and rally cars. So here we are in the Airspeed office. This is something we spend a lot of time at Airspeed, making sure that it's driver friendly. Everything from the bespoke made dashes and the panel at the front, down to the control panel, which is easy to reach while I'm driving. Another thing that I like in the car is my little lucky charm. It's a gear lever knob that I've had since I was 17 years old, and we've carried through all the race cars that I've raced. It says World Champions 1959, 1960, and I'm really proud of that badge. Sat in a bespoke made Corbeau seat with bespoke made trim, which we had done by Mercedes in Stuttgart, which were a really expensive option, but it's something I really like and suits the car. And here we are, finally sat in the Airspeed office. This is my favourite place to sit of the whole race weekend, because when we're at the paddocks, it's usually so busy and frantic and full on that once I get in the car and I'm ready to go to grid, that's when I'm at my calmest. Right, well now you've seen what Whizz is all about, how Whizz goes. There's a little thing to do with Whizz that we've never really discussed, and it's to do with somebody I was brought up with, very, very close to me. We went to school together. Extremely good teacher, but he's been on this journey right from the word go. So it's Mike Knowlson. We grew up together, we've done motorsport together, we were in the same motor club together. Mike's done his rallying and his racing, I've done my rallying and its racing, and now we're down one channel where we're making this thing tick. He's an extremely good friend, and it's the reason it all works.
Andy and I have been friends for over 35 years, in which time we've travelled all over Europe racing and rallying and got into lots of scrapes, most of which we can't talk to you about.
If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Leave a comment, and if you've got any ideas for future programmes, please let us know and we'll do our best to do what you want.